Okay. Morning, it's Friday, August 17th. Parshas Re'eh. We're sitting here in Road of Shalom in Atlantic City, the day of the air show. The headlines in today's newspaper says, look up. Look up today. And basically, we're holding now in the halachas of Krishma, and that's what we have to do. We have to look up every day and look up to God and to be appreciative of everything He's done for us and to thank Him. Yesterday you said you wanted to talk to me more about thank yous.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get to it in about 2 or 3 minutes. We said yesterday that when you say echad, the ches, you should have in mind that Hashem rules on the heavens above and on the earth below. So we look up to this Hashem and thank Him for what He's done for us who are on the earth below. The concept of thanking Hashem is really an enigma, because why does Hashem need us to thank Him? What does He get out of it? He can do anything He wants. He can have everything He wants. He can create within Himself that feeling of appreciation of people thanking Him. So it could be done automatically. So what's the whole purpose of us thanking Hashem? So I said this before, and I'll say it again, that the idea of thanking Hashem has nothing to do with Hashem. It has to do with us. That we should strive to be that kind of a people where we have that quality, that tremendous characteristic in us, that we are appreciative, and we show hakaras hatov. And with that concept of hakaras hatov, if we guide ourselves by that concept, then we'd all be much better off. First of all, we'd be getting along much better, whether it's with our spouses, our children, our friends, our business partners, and even strangers. The greatest thing in the world is to do somebody a favor. To do somebody a favor means that, not only does it mean that you did him a kindness, but you should do it, as I was telling my daughter yesterday, you should do it when you don't want to do it. I heard from my Rabbi Weiss, quote from someplace in a magazine, on Purim we send shlachmanos. We send packages to everybody. So everybody's busy making a list of all the people. Morning, Mr. Rosenfeld. Everybody's busy making packages of people, sending them, all kinds of foods and fruits, and, everybody says it's pretty much a waste of money, a waste of food, it's before Pesach. And
I totally disagree.
Yeah, okay, so I'm glad you disagree. But I heard something very cute from my rabbi who quoted, says, after you've done making that list, cross it out and send shlachmanos to everybody who you did not put on the list. Those are the ones. It's time to befriend those that you've unfriended, and to endear those that you should endear, but you didn't because you got ticked off on them for some ridiculous thing. We're all guilty of that. So, maybe once a year, pick up a phone and call somebody who you vowed never to talk to again. I know I had a situation where I had a very good friend, and for some ridiculous reason, which is almost too embarrassingly to say here, we got into a little fight, and I didn't talk to him for 30 years. And I always liked this guy, and it was just very difficult for me. We used to go to weddings, bar mitzvahs, see each other in the streets, and my heart told me, I should go over and give him a handshake, if not a hug. But, my pride, my mind, stopped me from doing it. And then one time I was at a simcha, I don't remember where, and I saw him, and I momentarily forgot that I'm in a fight with him. So I see him, and I give him a big smile, and I go with him, hey, how you doing? And then as I'm stretching out my hand to give him hello, I realize, hey, wait a second. I'm pissed off at this guy. I'm not supposed to talk to him. And my hand was like up in the air. And what do I do with it? Like, do I all of a sudden scratch myself? What do I do? So I continued, I shook his hand, and he was probably as baffled as I was. And that was it. And then it broke the ice. We're not best friends right now, but at least we'll acknowledge each other when we see each other. And so maybe it's a good idea, like once a year, call somebody who you've distanced yourself from, or that person distance of. Huh?
You like poetry?
Do I like poetry? Yeah.
On Monday, I'll bring in something that my parents have about something along these lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you want to ask me? Because I have a lot more to say on this.
About giving thanks. Like what you mentioned, you give something to somebody.
Right.
And it's something that they should be continually
appreciative. Right.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
It's a very good concept.
Mm-hmm. It should really be like the slogan, a gift that keeps on giving.
Uh-huh.
That, we thank Hashem every day for giving us the Torah, and it says we should look at it anew every day, because it's as if He gave it to us every single day. So we should have that concept. That's from the receiving end. From the giving end, everybody likes to give, and it's the greatest thing in the world is to do somebody a favor. But when you give something to somebody, it should be with the intent for the other person, not for yourself. Don't do things because it feels good for you. It's allowed to feel good for you, and that's a byproduct. But the motivation should be, if you see a poor person, or you see somebody's hungry, and you feed him, there's a tremendous amount of inner satisfaction you get from feeding or helping out that guy. But you should try to get to the level where your greatest satisfaction is, hey, now this guy ate. Now this guy has a meal. I feel so good for him. Not so much I feel so good for myself for helping him, but you feel so good for him. If you think about it in that way, there are a lot of times that people help other people, and it's problematic. I don't want to get into it right now.
We can...
What?
We can move on.
We can move on.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, okay. Now, I just want to expound on this one point where you should do something for somebody even though you don't feel like doing it. Now, something happened yesterday in Atlantic City, and I want to throw something out to you, and I want to ask a question, and then I will ask anybody who's listening to this to shut off the tape and not listen to the answer that I'm going to give and come up with an answer for themselves, and then listen to my answer and see if you agree. There is a guy in Atlantic City. His name is Shalom Veig. You know him. Mm-hmm. He, a year ago, came to the shul, and he bought talis and tefillin for the shul. He realized that the visitors that come, that either don't have, never put on tefillin, forgot it at home, whatever the case is, the shul needs a pair of tefillin. So he bought talisim and tefillin, and he gave me a check for $1,000, and I took care of it. Okay. That was last year. And I'm not sure, I guess I could say, Baruch Hashem, that talis and tefillin has been used many, many times, and he has actually benefited so many people. And the crowds here in Atlantic City have been growing over the years. And he walks in this year, about 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, and he says, Mendy, you know what? I think the shul could use a second spare set of talis and tefillin. So he gives me another $1,000, and I go out and I buy another set of tefillin, and which was about $650, $700. I bought some talisim. While I was there, I bought my friend Ari a gift, and so he gets credit for that gift too, because he motivated me to go to the store. And we have now in shul 2 spare sets. Actually, we have a third one that's been here for years. I'm not sure about how kosher it is. So now we have for certain two sets of tefillin which are 100% kosher, and it could be used by anybody, who walks into the shul. So this is a tremendous thing that he did, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, he was here in Atlantic City this week. Morning. He was here in Atlantic City this week, and he came to shul yesterday. He's been coming every day. He always comes to shul. He's very meticulous about davening with a minyan. And he came to shul, and he left shul, drove somewhere, parked his car, and parked his car, and when he came back, then went to his hotel room, and then at some point when he was packing up to get ready to go back to New York, he realizes that he doesn't have his talis and tefillin. So his first thought was that he may have left it in shul. So he called me, and I told him that I specifically remembered that he took his talis and tefillin with him because he had it in a gorgeous shopping bag from a store at the Revel, and I have a bag fetish, and I got to tell you, I violated the 10th commandment in the Torah where it says lo sachmod, you should not covet your neighbor's whatever. I coveted that bag. I couldn't get my eyes off it. Okay, and I asked him where he got it.
Get you one later.
Where he got it. It's in the Revel. I thought it was a food store. It turns out his wife bought a purse. The purse must have cost a lot of money because the bag itself was probably worth about $25. It was a good bag, a real good bag, and it was bright orange, and it just caught my eye. And he's been coming with it for every single day, and I've been looking at that bag. So he calls me and he says, Mendy, did I by any chance leave that bag in shul? So I said, no, I specifically remember you taking it. He says, not in the hotel room. And then we came to the conclusion that when he parked his car, I told him, he didn't even realize. I said, that bag was so inviting. It's a bright orange. You left it in your car. I don't know if you left your car unlocked or not. But somebody must have thought that, there's some expensive purse in that because it was a store for women's accessories, and stole it. Probably when he realized that it was some cloth with some fringes and some leather straps. I don't know whether he would throw it out or whatever. So now he's out that pair of talis and tefillin. This is the man that bought for the shul 2 sets, and more than that, it was his grandfather's tefillin, which went through the Holocaust, and this was very special to him. So this is a terrible thing that happened to him. So how would you possibly explain that something like this should happen to this person? Here's a man that in this specific thing, he is benefiting so many people with talis and tefillin, that this should happen to this person. I mean, it's the ultimate paradox. Okay, so I want you to think about this question, and if you're listening to this, then pause right here and think about it and see if you can come up with the answer that I'm going to give. Rav Rapport, no sign of the tefillin? No. So I'm posing the question here. How is it possible that something like this should happen to this person? A person who has benefited so many in shul and bought talis and tefillin for the shul. And to this person, such a what we look at as an onish, a knas, that something like this should happen to a guy like that. It's almost like an ultimate pachim ponim. Like, here you go, you do something great like this, and now, boom, we're taking away your own talis and tefillin, which I don't know if you heard, was his grandfather's tefillin, and he's besides himself.
This?
No.
I just have a cold. Oh. Yeah.
So, good morning, Tad.
Good morning. Don't kiss me. I know it was.
By the way, this is live, and people can listen to it, so be careful what people say. I'm broadcasting this, So, so here's the answer that I came up with. And good morning, morning, Avi. It's always a pleasure to see you. Say hi to anybody you want behind me.
Hi, Lynn.
I live.
Lynn and Shiur, and there's about quite a few people who I'm emailing this to. Anyway, so the answer I'm giving is, like I said before, that what is the ultimate kindness of doing somebody a favor is when you don't feel like doing the favor. If I call up somebody and I ask him, can you give me a ride somewhere, and he's going there anyway, okay, you can thank him. It's when you're not going there, when it's out of your way, and that's when you do somebody a favor. That's a real kindness. It is in such a situation where God is testing somebody and says, look, you think you're such a great guy, you're giving everybody towels and tefillin. Let's see how you act after I take yours away. Let's see how you're going to behave. Are you stopping? Are you done with giving the shul something? Like are you saying, if this is what I get for doing this, then I'm not going to do it anymore? Or the other way around. And believe it or not, he called me later in the day, and we spoke about the tefillin. I said I was going to check with the police department, and then he added, by the way, Mendy, don't forget, if the shul ever needs anything, call me. So he's still on the same track, and that's what a real mensch and a real mitzvah is. Okay, have a good Shabbos, everyone.